A massive thank you to Zaxu, Abraham, The Dubious Baker, Uncommon and Caleb for subscribing to the channel. If you're not featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 16 of season 2 of the F1 22 My Team career mode. Yesterday we return for the Italian Grand Prix back at the Temple of Speed. Yes, of course, if you missed out on the video that went live a couple of days ago from Zandvoort, I would highly recommend going back and checking that. And as well, of course, if you've missed out on any of the early videos we've done on F1 Manager as well, there's going to be plenty more content coming from that game, having a huge amount of fun with it. Would definitely recommend going back. You know, we did 2 episodes yesterday. Of course, we jumped in to our all-new Ferrari Road to Glory career mode. Of course, we're going to have an episode later on as well, so, you know, if you're enjoying that and you're not already, please do get yourself subscribed as well for daily Formula 1 related content. But yeah, of course, this weekend, though, back at the Temple of Speed, you know, I'm trying, you know, we're still doing a lot of F1 22 as well. You know, F1 Manager isn't going to completely take over from the installment from Codemasters this year. And of course, Monza, a track full of happy memories for ourselves in previous F1 games. Like I said, if you missed out on the Dutch GP last weekend, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. But today, though, we have still got a lot of interesting things going on in the world of Formula 1 there. Still, the midfield battle is near impossible to predict. You can currently see that we've got 3 major and 1 minor upgrade in the works. It just means the performance chart is super close between a lot of teams there. Championship-wise, though, we've had 3 different drivers lead the World Championship in the last 3 Grand Prix. Hamilton came back from the summer break in the championship lead. Bottas then immediately had a brilliant race at Spa to take over at the top, and then George Russell had an even better race at Zandvoort to reclaim the top step of the championship order. But that also means Hamilton hasn't scored any points in the last 2 weekends, so suddenly he sits 26 points away off the top. We're still 10th and 6th overall in both championships, but Monza, this could be a big chance for us to score some good points this weekend, so fingers crossed our good run of form can continue. Right, well here we are then, back at the Temple of Speed in Monza, and of course the real question around this circuit every year is just how little wing can you get away with. We are meant to be having a wet qualifying session tomorrow, but it is meant to be bright sunny skies by the time we get into the Grand Prix. So that was very optimistic in through the first corner. We get the car slowed down just about. Only green scores through the first couple of turns, but fingers crossed, you know, this track should be fairly easy for R&D. Out of the final corner then, out of the no, it's not Ascari, sorry. That is what used to be a Parabolica there, but up towards the line, we only just pick up a purple score, but a good way to start. Tyre management up next then. Of course, really these programs are all about just trying to get as much time as you can down the straights and then being as gentle as you can on the tyres when you get back round there. I mean, look at how quick this thing is down the straights, 215 miles an hour as we approach turn 1. Just going to brake a little bit before the 100-metre board there. You have got to be a little bit earlier on the brakes than I was expecting, but that is probably due to just how little downforce from running. Of course, yeah, be nice and smooth on the throttle. Don't want to light up the rear wheels, and of course be really smooth as well as you go through the corners. So we head back down in towards the Alboreto curve, being nice and smooth on the tyres as the lap has unfolded. There out of the final corner. This should again be another nice easy purple score, which it will be there. A lot of R&D on the board. I think it's time to get into qualifying then, here from the Temple of Speed. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Well, immediately heading out then into Q1 for the Italian Grand Prix, and this is very much giving me 2017 or even 2008 vibes here. Super wet around the circuit at the moment as we try and put the power down out of the Alboreto curve. I think it's just going to be one of those sessions where you've just got to try and circulate and get some laps on the board. As, yeah, hopefully we can try and find some good pace in the car. Starting to get a little bit high on the gearbox there. But, yeah, like I said, I have upped the wing ready for qualifying, up the front wing there. That means obviously we can lower it ready for the race. But yeah, this is going to be a very, very difficult qualifying session. This could be honestly one of those ones where you either find yourself on the second row or the back row, and you're not really too sure how. Well, coming down towards the end of my first lap, we were trying to chase one of the Mercs, but it looks like whoever it is has been able to break quite far away from me here. Mercedes have brought some big upgrades this weekend, which should hopefully help their performance there. It's still trying to get a little bit optimistic on the throttle out of that final corner there, and we actually go slowest at the moment, so we're going to try and find a lot more time, as there is Max Verstappen emerging out of the pit lane. Well, sixth gear seems to be your best friend at the moment. We seem to get wheel spin all the way up through. Of course, just how torquey these modern turbo hybrids are, but trying to get the car slowed down at the 150-metre board there. It's again just having to tiptoe my way out through Ascari. We did have a big snap of oversteer last time, so fingers crossed we are going to be able to find a little bit more time. But we're still only about 4/10 up there. We are a long, long way off where I'd hoped we'd be around this circuit as we head down through the final corner. I'm going to try and get nicely on the throttle there, avoid the wheel spin as best as possible. Oh, taking a lot too much curb. Well, we were about to go down the pit lane backwards, but it looks like the game has kind of saved me. Although now we've got to go for an extra lap. I'm so sorry, Nicholas Latifi. Right, well, 3 minutes left on the clock then, and it doesn't seem like track conditions are improving at the moment. We are still in the drop zone, though, which is a rather big worry. We're about a second away. There's a huge gaggle of cars sat around the high 1 minute 30s. I definitely feel like we have got the pace to get a whole lot closer to them. It is going to require quite a good, clean, disciplined lap, as now we've got everyone else heading back out of the pit lane as well, getting ready to start their last runs. I'm going to double run it if I need to, but yeah, at the moment we are not in a great spot. Out through Ascari once more. Whoa! Oh, big snap of oversteer there on the exit. Conditions are atrocious here in qualifying for the Italian Grand Prix, but that has basically meant we're not really going to improve on this first run out of the final corner. Going to try and, like I said, get up into sixth gear there, try and put the throttle down at the final turn, but that's only going to bring us 2/10 closer to the rest of the field. We're on a 1:31.5, as now we've got Drugovic all over the back. I mean, it's quite clear we just haven't got enough top-end speeds against a lot of these other cars. Trying to keep ahead of Drugovic there as we chop him off down at turn 1. This has got to be a lap of the season for us if we want to make it out of Q1. And you know what I said? This could be one of those sessions where you find yourself on the second row or the back row. At the moment, it's looking like it's going to be the former. So we've got to just try and see what we can do then. Take a lot of risks on this second lap there. So you can just see attacking the curbs through the chicane there. I got a nice run through there last time round. That time I certainly haven't. Heading down in towards Ascari, though, it does seem like neither myself or Pourchaire have really got the pace we were hoping for in this session there, as Pourchaire's only down in P18, but we're going to get a much better run out in towards the final corner this time, so we should still improve at the moment. As you can just see, Pourchaire is getting shuffled down the order, but Drugovic again still trying to look for something as we break as late as possible through the final corner there. Daniel Ricciardo goes fastest in his Ferrari there. They'll love to see that. But look at that, Pourchaire down in P21, and we can't even best him. Well, there we go then. Hamilton did go faster at the end of Q1. I'm sure he's now, obviously, with 2 non-points finishes in a row, really looking to try and just absolutely clean sweep in this weekend there. But down towards the bottom of the field, we were only a 10th away from Teo Pourchaire in the end, but it just seemed like neither car had any pace to compete with anyone else there. Sergio Perez out in Q1 as well, but a disappointing start to the Italian GP weekend. But we think, hopefully, we've still got a good car in terms of race pace. Let's just hope we can put today behind us and focus on where the points are. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Ricciardo, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Sainz, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Bottas, they've taken a grid penalty, and Felipe Drugovich, Magnussen, Stroll, Lando Norris, and Schwartzman, Albon, Joe, Pierre Gasly, and Théo Pourchaire. Tsunoda, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mr. Monaco, Latifi, and Sergio Perez completes our grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well, I suppose it's nice that Mark's back after apparently he went on strike last weekend. But here we are then, down at Monza, the Temple of Speed, like we keep saying, for the Italian GP. And is it worth trying to go on a very, very aggressive strategy here? I'm wondering whether mediums to softs might be worth a gamble this weekend. But we'll have to wait and see as to how things pan out there. Of course, going to bring back down the front wing slightly, but it definitely seems like we just haven't got the top-end speed of a lot of the other cars around us today. I probably should have just taken a fresh engine as we were starting at the back anyway. I probably should have just had all new parts in the car, and therefore meant we probably could have got to the end of the year without having to worry too much about the components. But can't make any changes now, just got to get on with it here for the Italian GP. 27 laps ahead of us around one of Formula One's most iconic circuits, and fingers crossed today, you know, even starting down here, maybe still points are doable. And there we go then, heading out of the final corner. Quite surprised to see both McLarens with penalties ready for this GP, but hopefully for us, just means, I mean, it's not going to make any difference to us. I highly doubt we're going to be anywhere near the McLarens today as we try and build up some temperature in the tyres. Russell ahead of Hamilton though once more, so if he can continue to build up that championship lead as we head into the flyaway season, I'm sure George will be incredibly happy. Here we are though on the grid, ready for the Italian Grand Prix, waiting on those 5 red lights, and it is going to be a very long hold, but lights out and away we go. Or apparently not really going anywhere there. It's, what? How are we getting that much wheel spin off the launch there as we head down towards turn 1? Sergio Perez immediately trying to have a look past Nicolas Latifi as they all fan out in towards the first corner there. Tiny bit of contact with Sergio, who's going to continue to try and push me to the inside through turn 1 there. I think we were 3 wide through the first corner, but in the end we haven't gained a spot on Yuki Tsunoda despite the horrible getaway and a first initial launch. But Perez, I'm sure today, is going to be very, very fast in that Red Bull as we head down in towards the next chicane there. Oh, Albon all over the road. Somehow we try and get to the inside of him as he hops over the curbs on the exit. We should be able to put the power down, and we do swoop past the Williams there. So I'm in a P18 then off the start of the Grand Prix. I think Albon tried to come back at me in towards the first Lesmo there, but both myself and Teo Porcher then making up places early on. We obviously had just a horrible qualifying session. In many ways, it was reassuring that it wasn't just me that struggled in the car. Of course, Teo has been very, very good on one-lap pace so far this season, as Perez, I think, behind, trying to make a move work on Alex Albon as well there. But you just see how much they've just slowed each other down through the Assetto chicane there, as round in the final corner of lap 1. Max Verstappen leads the way here in Monza. I'm sure he'd love to try and get his first win of the year on the board. And of course Red Bull, yeah, narrowly missed out on the GP victory last weekend. There is, look at that, we've already got Drogovic into the pit lane. Not too sure what's happened to the Haas man, because we've got Aston Martins, Alpha Tauras, everyone. I think there's a couple of Alfa Romeos in the mix there as well, trying to go side by side in towards the first corner. Are we going to see plenty of Constantina and up there, as you can just see how much the AI slow each other down? And Lando Norris, horrible start for him, down into P15 of the Grand Prix, as here comes Perez, trying to find something on the exit, but can't quite get the power. There we go, Verstappen again, another new fast lap of the day, as I think trying to stick within the DRS range of the cars in front. He's going to be pretty critical here, but again, it just looks like the Alpine Renault E-Tech power unit isn't quite giving us the sort of speed we need. Very, very weird though, of course, because the Alpine is often a very, very fast car in Formula 1, as I was just a bit worried then I was going to smash into the back of my teammate Teo Porcher. But so far so good, still just trying to settle in. But yeah, I think overtaking today might be quite difficult for us. Oh, there we go, side by side again, down in towards the Assetto chicane. Is this going to see a lot of Constantina up behind? Not too badly this time, as you can actually see they're getting a really nice run through Ascari. Are we now going to be able to have a look past our teammate Teo Porcher, trying to use a bit more battery? Side by side with Teo down in towards the final corner. We haven't had many wheel-to-wheel battles with the young Frenchman so far this year, as I thought. Oh, there we go, that was the mistake I was expecting from him. Just to run a bit deep on the exit of the corner there, but that was certainly not how I thought that would go down, as you can still see everyone in front jockeying for position as we head down in towards the first corner. Zhou Guanyu seems to be going backwards as they head in towards the first braking zone. How have they not made contact there? As we'll be very, very cheeky up the inside of Lance Stroll, and we will slot up into P15. Whoa, end of lap 4. What on earth's happened to Robert Schwartzman? How has he ended up so far off the circuit there? I'm guessing he was battling with Lando Norris, so we might be able to get both Alfa Romeos in one go there, as Zhou Guanyu got a little bit caught out there with 3 wide. It might be about to be 4, as Lance Stroll trying to find some room down in towards turn 1. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? This is not a happy place to be, but somehow it is us down the middle there, and up now into P13 of the Grand Prix. I don't think a warning for contact with Zhou Guanyu was particularly fair there, but yeah, we have had a decent start then. 7 places in 5 laps here at Monza, but now Lando Norris nearly 2 seconds up the road. That's going to be a difficult gap to close down against a much faster car. But at the moment, we are really settling into a good rhythm here in Monza. Not too sure how he hadn't picked up the DRS on Lando Norris. I thought we were in the 1 second zone when we got down to the detection point, but tyre wear's looking really, really good as well. I've just got to always manage the ERS though around this circuit there. It's back down through turn 1. It's all about managing the ERS and making sure you're getting the car back into 4th gear so you get no wheel spin on the exit, because of course the AI pretty much every time will just get perfect traction off the corners. It does also make me laugh, the fact as we lined up on the grid I said there's no way we're going to battle a McLaren today, and immediately, just 7 laps in, Lando Norris is seemingly really struggling for pace here, and he's got the DRS though on Kevin Magnussen, but we have got a lot more speed as we head down towards turn 1. How can we have struggled so much in qualifying for speed? Get into the race. I mean, look at that round the outside of what is a title-threatening McLaren down in turn 1 there. Love that one. Brave on the brakes. And now we've got to try and get in the range of Kevin Magnussen, of course. But Lando, I think, is still going to be trying to apply the pressure. While coming towards the end then of lap 10, just trying to monitor the tyre wear at the moment. You can just see on the mini-map, Max Verstappen has just broke free at the front of the field. And touch wood for him, he's not really going to look back today. As, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he actually won a race last season. This might be the first race victory we see Max Verstappen get in the My Team career mode, if I remember correctly there. But Perez now getting the jump on Lando Norris as well, so it is clear that Lando is really, really struggling in that car. I'm still planning to try and take these tyres to about lap 16, and then try and go softs to the end there. There's a 5-second gap up to Pierre Gasly in front, but there is 4 cars there, all duking it out. McLaren just don't seem to have the pace this weekend that they've boasted so often. in towards the summer break. I can just see AI 3 wide down into Ascari. Who's going to lose out on that one? Looks like it is still Pierre Gasly that's sitting in P10. But I mean, look at that. Those cars have cost each other 3 seconds in a single lap here. And Kevin Magnussen now might just get the DRS on them. I think he's just going to miss out as we head in towards the Alboreto curve once more. But surely we're not far away from the AI boxing as well in this Grand Prix, but we need to probably try and get the run on Kevin Magnussen now, and then launch ourselves into the DRS of Pierre Gasly in front. The Aston Martin, not a slow car down the straights, 220 miles an hour as we romp our way back down towards turn 1. Late on the brakes, snag the inside wheel, but we do just about get it slowed down and kept between the white lines, and that's now us a bit of P11 of the Italian GP here. We had no pace on Saturday, but come Sunday, so far, it all seems to be going our way. There we go, one of the Mercedes first cars to peel into the pit lane, so it doesn't look like we're going to be going aggressively longer than the rest of the field. Gasly in, Mick Schumacher in as well, so certainly, yeah, it isn't just an outlier in Lewis Hamilton boxing in, as we did pick up the DRS there, not too sure how we managed that one, as I think Perez is just trying to follow me past all of the cars behind. There we go, a handful of other cars into the pit lane, including race leader Max Verstappen, so Ferrari are at least going to see one of their cars lead for at least one lap here. But then we might actually, yeah, but no, we should lead for a little bit in this Grand Prix, unless that Ferrari is doing a bizarre strategy. It is Daniel Ricciardo who leads the way now here in Monza, but we've got a couple more laps before we box. I'll try and save some battery as well, but then of course we should be rapid later on in the afternoon. There we go, Ricciardo, the last man into the... Well, not quite the last man into the pit lane just yet, but there's only a few of us that had opted to go out this long in the GP, but we are going to take the lead here in Monza then. We've got to enjoy it, savour these moments whilst we can on F1 22, but I mean, it can't be long, I think. You know, maybe another season or two before we're really fighting right towards the front in the world of Formula 1. It took us a few seasons back on F1 2021 as well there, but it's all the journey, it's how you get there, not just the World Championships you hopefully take when you get there. Well, heading out of Ascari then for the last time on this set of the medium compound tyres. Tyre warning light has come on, but honestly they felt absolutely fine over the last couple of laps, of course. Now it's just a case of trying to get the car slowed down nicely into the pit lane. Verstappen has been taking a fair chunk of time out of me. I think if we can come out sort of around Lando and Checo still, we'll probably be in quite good stead in the latter stages of this race. I just want points today. That is the big goal this weekend, of course, despite the rough qualifier. We want to try and keep that point streak alive, as there we go, front four all fly past me, as both Mercs actually are still battling it out there. Of course, McLaren even really struggling for pace this weekend, but 2.5 second stop from the team. Love that as we head out of the pit lane. Just got to be super careful on the tyres. And we might have overcut our way much closer to Pierre Gasly, is trying not to run into the side of the AlphaTauri there. Got to try and get these tyres up to temperature nice and quickly. But look at that here we have. Who have we jumped? Esteban Ocon must have had some issues over the pit window, because he's dropped back down into P12 there, and he might lose the spot to Lando and end up P13. But we are now up into the points of the Italian Grand Prix, and remember, we've got quicker, fresher rubber to see us to the checkered flag. Could we still? I'm sort of looking at one of the, must be Alonso, of course, in the second Alpine. No, it's not. It's Carlos Sainz, isn't it now? I always forget about the driver changes, but yeah, if we can try and get up close to Sainz by the end in his Alpine, that would be really good. So I think Pierre Gasly is going to try and line up a move on Mick Schumacher, but now we've got these tyres up to temperature. Surely you can just see how much earlier we can get on the throttle out of the final turn. That AlphaTauri, though, has got some pace underneath it. It's Mick Schumacher going to try and force Pierre defensive. We got the double slipstream, so we head down in towards turn 1. I could just tell Mick Schumacher was going to try and take the space there through the first corner. As can we try and get around the outside of Mick on the exit there? We've still got so much more grip than these cars at the moment. There is round Mick Schumacher we go, so we head through Curva Grande. We might be able to get the run on Pierre Gasly as well, but look at that, Mick Schumacher coming back at me. Gasly's going to go defensive. We try to steam around the outside there. A little bit of contact with Mick Schumacher, as now Gasly will somehow park the bus exactly where he needed to, but surely now we can get a good run at the second Lesmo. Gasly is going to be a sitting duck here. This is brilliant battling going on in the Italian GP there. As can we try and put the throttle down? Yes, we can. DRS activated. And surely this one's a done deal. They're around the outside of Pierre. AlphaTauri have had such a poor season so far. Sure, they'd love to walk away with some points today, but not going to get any sympathy from me. Next up, Bottas, 4 seconds up the road. Sainz probably the last man we can close up to today. 5.6 away. Out the final corner up towards the line. New fastest lap of the day. I don't get where this pace has come from come Sunday. I completely understand, of course, we're on soft tyres and everyone else is on hards, but I haven't changed anything at all from qualifying yesterday, and we saw just how much quicker the AI were than me. Very, very weird times on F122, but yeah, the gap to Sainz has come down. We've taken about a second out of him over the last lap, so this could still be quite close by the end, but we have also got to look after the rubber. Well, that might be one way that can help us close up to Sainz and Bottas a little bit faster. Side by side they go through turn 1. So we just take a bit too much curve there through the first corner, but immediately then the gap had started to slow down, to be honest, the rate we were closing in, but now it's dropped under 3 seconds. And if these two can keep going at it, we've already seen today how much the AI can cost each other. There is all. Sainz very, very aggressively defends through the next corner there, as I'm taking way too much curb in far too many places, but look at that immediately. Gap now down to just over 2. Here we go, Bottas, and again round the outside of Carlos Sainz. As they head down in towards turn 1 there, I think Bottas is going to try and cover him off, which he has just about done. So the McLaren moves past the Alpine, of course a battle we're watching for real life in 2022. There is a big snap of oversteer out of turn 2. But I'm just starting to think these tyres might be giving up a little bit. Unless those two really get their elbows out, we might not quite have enough towards the end. Oh, 2 laps to go. We are getting so close to being within the range of Carlos Sainz here, but I think we're going to just need him to try and battle Bottas once more, just try and throw everything at the McLaren one more time, because the gap then was sat at 1.03 seconds when we went out of the final corner. You can just see now again, here comes Carlos Sainz on Valtteri Bottas as they head down towards turn 1. He gets right behind him, but can't make anything happen this time. This might come down to the final lap of the race, but are we going to be able to get involved? Well, about to start the last lap then of the Italian Grand Prix, and I think Sainz is getting ready to try and line up a move on Valtteri Bottas once more, but our tyre wear warning light has just come on, so we are going to need a miracle if we want to try and get close enough to these two. There goes Sainz though, activates the DRS. Will he have enough to close in on the McLaren by the time they get down towards turn 1? I'm not convinced he will. He is going to throw everything at this Carlos Sainz, obviously against a man at his former team, but Bottas just about again hangs on firm through turn 1 there. We've got 3-second gap back to Sergio Perez, who, yeah, to be honest, we've kind of just fought our way through the field together throughout a lot of the afternoon. But honestly, I'm still not sure where this pace has come from come Sunday. I really did think, you know, points was going to be incredibly optimistic to try and come by here, and Singapore is often a really strong track for us as well if past games are anything to go by, so maybe this point streak can continue on just that little bit further as we head in towards the flyaway season. We've had an odd run of form throughout the European leg. Of course, came back to Imola back in round 4. Really struggled. First race of the year we didn't score points, and then from then on we went on about a 5-race run where just nothing was working for us. But since Austria would seem to be the turning point once more, Max Verstappen though is going to take home the victory and win here at Monza. The Red Bull finally back on top there, but round in the final corner we go. I'm not too sure which Mercedes finished in front there. Bottas, the other championship threat, behind them both, but we're going to come through from 20th on the grid. It's P8.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Red Bull pulling out all the stops today. What a great win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. That's a positive result for George Russell, who further solidifies his position at the top of the standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Well, there was a lot of incredible driving out there today, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic driving.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Italian GP, and what's that? 4 different teams have won the last 4 Grand Prix. Goes to show just how crazy the world of Formula 1 is at the moment. But Max Verstappen walks away with Red Bull's first victory of the season there. It seems like both them and Ferrari have taken such a huge step forward after the summer break there. Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo do mean Ferrari get a double podium this weekend, but I'm sure Ferrari and the Tifosi would have just wanted that little bit more there. Russell beats out Hamilton again to further extend his title lead, but Bottas, yeah, losing a little bit of ground there, struggled throughout a lot of the afternoon. Sainz, myself, Perez and Gasly rounding out the top 10 there. So, I mean, yeah, look at that. Myself 20th to 8th, Perez 22nd to 9th, and Gasly 17th to 10th there. That has been a fantastic drive by all 3 of us. No other major surprises. Albon's taken the fastest lap point away with a 57-second lap time. Not too sure how he's done that one, but clearly Williams are holding on to a lot more pace than anyone ever thought there. Teo Porcher, really tough weekend for him. Fingers crossed he can put it behind him when we get out to Singapore next weekend there. Verstappen, though, with that result, jumps Sainz and Perez in the Drivers' World Championship. Again, we're just locking in P10 overall. We might, if we had a really good run of form, close up to Sergio, but I think it's going to take a miracle later on in the year there. Russell still leads 13 clear now of Bottas, 28 clear of Lewis Hamilton. Is the 8th world title curse still going to haunt him late on in the campaign there? No other movers in the Drivers' Championship. Constructors-wise, though, Mercedes, for the first time in a while, pull away from McLaren just a little bit there. The gap up to 68 points at the moment as Ferrari sat 151 back there. Red Bull, Alpine, ourselves is looking pretty locked in terms of the Constructors' Championship across the board. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And we will be back very soon, ready to continue on this crazy career mode. We'll be heading to Singapore. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.